everybody, and welcome to another video with me. If you're new here, my name is Revere. I'm a fourth year medical student in Texas of the United States, and this is a Q&A video. Now, I usually do my Q&A videos at the end of the year, so this will be my last one because this time next year I will be a resident. I asked you guys on Instagram and YouTube to give me questions that you wanted to ask a senior medical student, and this is what y'all had to say. Now, I'm not going to be one of those YouTubers who hides the really awesome questions till like the middle or end of the video. Let's go ahead and address them right now. So one question that I get all the time, now that I'm at the end looking back, was medical school worth it? Thinking about how hard it was, the years that it took, because I feel like I've been in medical school my whole life, and all of the money that I've spent to be here, was it worth it? And right now it's kind of a hard question to answer because I haven't matched yet, so I don't know if I have a job. And also, the human ego is this thing that makes you think that all your decisions in life have been good or at least justified in some way. So it's hard for me to look at this decision and think, was it actually a horrible decision? So I'm going to try to break it down into a series of questions that will hopefully overall answer, was it worth it? Was it a good investment of my early 20s? So I'm 25 and I started medical school when I was 22. I think that out of all the things I could have done for the past 4 years, in my early 20s, I think going to medical school is one of the best decisions that you can make. Because I'm not married, I don't have a permanent location, I don't have children, I don't have another job, so I am as free and mobile as a person can be. And I think that being thrown into the city I'm in to attend medical school and finishing it so that I have it as a tool for the rest of my future, rest of my 50 years on this planet, I think that it was a wonderful investment, one of the best investments you can make as a young adult. What do my friends and family think? You should never do anything because it makes your friends and family proud. You should only do things because they make you happy. But I will say that having your family and your parents on board with what you want to do in life is helpful, because my mom takes me to the airport to my interviews, or my dad will give me money for food and for a book I might need for school. They're very proud of this decision that I've had, and it's been wonderful to have their support. And sometimes when everybody in life is telling you that this is a good decision, it's kind of a good indicator that it's a good decision. If everyone's yelling at you and telling you this is horrible, don't do that, then, you know, you might want to think about whether or not that is a good decision. Wasn't medical school really, really hard? Yes, medical school was excruciating, to be honest, at some points. I'm not even lying when I say that I might have some underlying PTSD from step one for the rest of my life. And I'm not trying to downplay that or anything. I'm being completely serious, because when I think of step one, I zone out, and my brain almost doesn't even let me go to the memory because of how very saddening the whole experience was. In medical school, you have a final exam at the end of every month for 2 years, and then you enter your clinical third year rotations, where you get a piece of paper from every person that you've talked to saying whether they like you or not. That is so psychologically impactful, and sometimes not in a great way. I've had people tell me that they think I suck. I've had people tell me that I will be an average doctor when I grow up. And that can be a lot for a very impressionable student to handle. Studying really hard for weeks on end to get a B in the class by 0.1 points. Knowing that every time you get a B, or every time someone is doing better than you, they're going to get a better job than you at the end. It is very, very stressful and hard. But in the end, it's always good to think about it in a way of gratitude, because yes, it's hard, but most things in life that offer you wonderful opportunities are very, very hard. Nobody offers you a great life on a silver platter, and nothing that is great in this life almost ever comes easy. A lot of it takes sacrifice. So I could sit here and say, yeah, it sucked, I had a horrible time, everything was hard, I can't believe it. Or I could think of it as, this was a very difficult experience, but now looking back, I am so proud of the opportunities that it will offer me. I'm also, a lot of you guys think, more confident in the way that I talk. and the way that I hold myself. And when people ask me questions about medicine, I typically know the answers to them. So I now have a huge, robust education in medicine. You've got to tackle these hard, difficult things head on, because in the end, they will offer you these wonderful opportunities. Do I feel like I missed out on my youth, as a lot of people put it? No, not at all. My brother is in college still, and I visit my family and talk to my family more than he does, because family and friends is always going to be my #1 priority, and school will always be second. So was I the world's best student when I was in medical school? I tried really hard, but to be honest, I always will think my family and friends are a #1 priority. So I attended most birthdays, I attended all holidays, I talked to my mom, I talked to my father, I talked to my siblings, I hang out with my friends almost every weekend when I can. The only time when I really gave up extended periods of time was when I was studying for STEP. So that was like a total of 6 months. I think it was worth it in the end though. I've been able to travel still. I've been able to study and have hobbies on the side. It is kind of saddening that when I go back to my hometown and I'm on winter break, none of my friends are on winter break anymore. They stopped doing that when college ended 4 years ago. They now have significant others, families, children, and stable jobs. So they don't want to do anything for winter break like me. That's something that you might encounter when you go to medical school. You're still the one in school and nobody else really is. That being said, a lot of medical students in my class got married or are dating each other, and I mean a lot, or decided to have children. So while I wouldn't do that just because I'd rather have some stability in my life for my children, there are a lot of people who found it very important to start their families and decided to do that. So if that's something that you're interested in, people do it all the time. So I think overall, to answer my initial question, yes, medical school was hard, and yes, it has affected me in ways that maybe I can't even understand. But overall, I now am about to receive a medical degree, and the glass ceiling is gone. I can do almost anything I want and set my eyes to at this point and go as far as I want to go, because a doctorate degree is such a powerful thing to have. Looking back, I can confidently say to all of you that I think medical school was definitely worth it. It's something that I would recommend to any pre-med who is driven enough to do it, and even to my own children. What is my biggest regret in medical school? It's a very hard question. I try to live a life in which I have no regrets. If I had to say something, and I don't really regret anything really, is I wish I had better study habits when I was a first and a second year. If any of you have watched my earlier vlogs, I tend to have pulled all-nighters all the time, and because I was never sleeping, I had this tendency of falling asleep in class or falling asleep as soon as I got home. So I was pretty much on an opposite sleeping schedule than everybody. So I was always late to everything during the day, and I never really hung out with people because they were awake during the day. I also was chronically tired. I even started crying in front of one of my physicians because I told her I am always tired. I always feel like I could pass out and I don't know why. And then she was like, well, what's your sleeping habits? And I told her, and she said, well, I think you should start sleeping at night. I just wish that I didn't make it so hard for myself those first couple of years. What is my favorite memory from medical school so far? One of my favorite memories actually is when I had to ask one of my attendings for a letter of rec. Me and him were scrubbed in for a case. We were in the middle of, I forget what we were doing, I think like a tendon repair or something, and our attending said, okay, well, you guys wrap this up, it's all over now, all you have to do is clean up things, and I'm gonna go home. He took off his gown, and he walked out, and he was halfway down the hallway to the exit door. So I ran out of the door. I asked one of the medical students to push the door open for me in my gown, which is not a good idea. Don't do that. But I just really needed to catch him because it was the last day of my rotation. So I ran out to him in my gown and I said, sir, before you go, I really want to let you know that I loved having you as an attending. I think you're a wonderful mentor, and it would mean so much to me if you were to write me a letter of rec. So just in this hallway, my attending standing there in his scrubs looking at me like I'm a crazy person, and me standing in front of him in my OR gown with like blood on me, with my mask on, pleading for him to give me a letter of rec. I just thought that that was super awesome. What am I looking forward to the most in my future? Well, it's almost the end of a decade right now. It's the last month, and this has been a fantastic decade for me. I turned 18, went to college, turned 21, graduated college, got into medical school. I'm almost done with medical school. It's been a very awesome decade, so I guess I'm just looking forward to what the next decade might hold. I still have a lot of the pieces of the average life that I haven't gotten, so it'd be nice to maybe grow up and meet someone nice or perfect. I'm really picky. Perhaps start a family, definitely have a job, and definitely be a surgeon, and just have a lot of the pieces of life fall and come together for me. I feel like my life is in a constant state of limbo, and I don't really know what's ever going on, and I don't really have my feet on the ground, so maybe having that when I grow up will be awesome. Alright guys, this video is getting long enough, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Thank you so much everyone for watching. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys and hear what you guys have to say, so if you have any additional comments, leave them down below. But other than that, I will see you guys in my next video. Goodbye everybody!